An opening statement from Coach Ryan, and then we will go to questions for anybody at the dais. Bo?
Well, just very proud to represent our university in the Big Ten and in this next matchup for the championship. So it's exciting, and hopefully all the players will stay healthy between now and tomorrow, and we're looking forward to it.
Okay,
Thanks.
we're going right here.
Bo, this is Andrew Carter with the News and Observer in Raleigh. It didn't seem like Frank had a ton of big-time scholarship offers out of high school. What about him stood out to you and made you want to offer him? And did you see this kind of evolution coming with him?
Bo?
Well, yeah, we've had this question quite a bit, and I can't answer it in any other way other than the fact that when I saw Frank play, you know, one of my assistant coaches had seen him, and then I go to see him, and his ball skills for his size were pretty good. I like that in a big man. And he loved playing the game, and it seemed like it mattered to him whether or not he won a game or lost a game. And in some people, when you watch them play, you just never get that sense. So a big guy that's competitive, that was willing to work, great student, athletic parents that were good students, or at least that's what they told me, Frank. One of them. So, yeah, and then he came in, and he had some big guys to play against every day, and you can't help but to get better. And then, you know, he played on the perimeter some. In our offense, you go inside, outside for guys his size. He's made the most of being in a program where those are points of emphasis. Develop your total game in different drills. It isn't like just guards can only do this. Bigs can only do this. So Frank took advantage of every learning opportunity that he had, and he just kept making himself better. And he's going to be even better next year and the year after.
Right here.
Hi, Steve Futterman from CBS News for Frank and Bo. Congratulations on last night, by the way. I want to ask you, we had this unfortunate incident last night with Andrew's comments, which I'm sure you've heard about. Frank, has he reached out to you and your reaction to it? And Bo, for you, I know you're a teacher. I am not trying to get you to pile on, but is this a teachable moment? Can everyone learn something from what happened last night?
Question for Frank.
Yeah, he reached out to me. We talked about it, over it. Nothing needs to be made out of it.
And Bo?
Yeah, it's in this day and age, it always reminds all of us. It reminds us that whatever we say can and will be heard, it seems. So, yeah, I mean, the teaching moment is the individual himself learned from it, obviously, by reaching out to Frank. So we'll leave it at that.
Back in the back.
Dana O'Neill with ESPN. Bo, you know how this business works. Despite what your program has accomplished in the last 2 years, what does winning a national championship do in terms of the perception and just what Wisconsin basketball is all about?
Bo?
Well, I don't know about perception. I do know that these guys have established themselves as being a pretty good group of young men that have come together, and kind of reminds me of the 07-08 team. Unfortunately, those two teams, each one of them had a major injury to a player that didn't get the finish. So we didn't make as deep a run in the NCAA tournament. But these guys remind me of that group. They remind me of the 05 group. So whatever this team accomplishes Monday night, one way or the other, it's still who they are. They proudly have represented the University of Wisconsin, the Big Ten. And I'm never really concerned if there are people that perceive us a certain way, because we are who we are. We play the way we play, and we're sure happy with it. So we can live with that.
Right here.
Stuart Mandel from Fox Sports. Bo, a lot of tension this year to lack of scoring in college basketball. Does there need to be rule changes? But both you guys and Duke are very good at it. Have you cracked the code, or is it just a product of having some of the best players in the country?
Bo?
Well, having players that have worked as hard as they have worked to get to this point where they are, a lot of people are talented coming out of high school. It's what people do with what they have, and they've done an awful lot of positive things. And scoring is down 1 3-point basket a game, I guess. So if people want to get nervous and break out and have problems with that, I feel sorry for them. You know, it's just amazing. It's still, you can watch a basketball game and you can see a score at a certain, and they'll say what a great defensive battle it was. And when we're involved in those games, how come it's not said it's a great defensive battle? I could never figure that one out. But we've scored, what was it, last year we scored winning games 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, and 48-38 over Virginia against a good friend of mine who we could not shoot it very well that night. It's not like we were not trying to score. So people can talk about scoring being down. Well, it really doesn't resonate with myself because of we know what we're trying to do. We know what the other team's trying to keep us from doing. And also we know what we're trying to keep them from doing. So that's what we get involved with, and how everybody else interprets it, go at it.
Right here.
Coach Noah Kozlov, Cinesport. What was it like the day before you competed for the national title in '91 as compared to now?
Bo?
Training table meal was hot dogs. The morning of the game, I had a cream donut and a diet pop. Now we have the best French toast, pancakes, eggs, omelets. We have people cooking omelets. We have, what else do we have? Pretty much have bacon, turkey. Did he say prunes? No, and all the fruit you could possibly think about eating. And I think there was a stringer, one stringer from the Madison paper that actually showed up and covered the game. So you asked me what the difference, or what it was like. It wasn't like this. My own mindset, boy, I hope these young men who we've worked with and have worked with us, just hope they perform at their highest level, and the outcome will be what it's going to be. And it's still about the development and watching these guys grow and their experiences together. And you know, the problem with my guys is they're too tense. Can't you tell that? They're so the group I had in '91, they were really serious, kind of like these guys.
Back over here.
This question is for Coach and any of the players who want to take it. Jim Connors, Time Warner Cable News in North Carolina. Coach K referenced this as an issue for his team to try to put Saturday in the past and fight human nature to linger in the celebration of an accomplishment. And you would figure to have an even bigger challenge in that regard, given that you had a year to wait for a chance to get back at Kentucky, and you obviously went 15 rounds with them last night and spilled a lot of emotion. How tough will it be to go back to the emotional well and bring what it's going to take to get the job done Monday against Duke?
Bo, we'll start with you.
Yeah, well, we've had those weekends. We had 3 straight games in the Big Ten tournament. We had to win at Minnesota, at Ohio State at the end of the year, and Michigan State at home to lock up the Big Ten championship regular season. And then, of course, the 3 games in Battle for Atlantis. They've had some experience at this. And then these past weekends, you play Thursday, Saturday, or Friday, Sunday, and you know you have to forget about the one that you just played, as far as the only thing that's going to help you for that next game is what you learned during the 40 minutes of that Thursday or Friday game. In this case, it's Saturday, Monday. Today, when we're at practice, they'll be reminded about a few things from last night, but it'll be how we can get better.
Nigel, would you like to talk about putting last night behind you?
Well, I think it'd be pretty easy for us to do. I don't really know how to answer questions. I just thought I was brought here to say some words, and you guys like laugh. So,
Nigel, do you have a couple?
well, I have one to describe Pops, Logorrhea. If you don't know what that means, when you look at it, you'll laugh. And Succedaneum. And those are my 2 words I have today. And thank you, everyone, for the questions. I'm over under 2. I'm under right now, so
Thank you, Nigel. Right over here.
This is for Coach Bo. Earl Arms here with CBS Milwaukee. You've coached in Wisconsin a long time, Platteville, Milwaukee, and now at Madison. Is there, as you prepare for this national championship game, as you've gone through this tournament, is there a time, or is there a moment where you just try and tell your team, or you get your guys to kind of embrace what you guys have done and kind of the legacy they've set, not only for the program at UW, but the state of Wisconsin as a whole?
Bo.
Well, they do know they represent more than just themselves. Obviously, their family, and you just keep taking it out from there. And they know that they have a chance to make a mark in history. They understand that. They've already done some of that. But when you're an athlete and you're competing, and there's unfinished business here. There's 40 more minutes, or at least. And, they understand who they are, what they're trying to do, and they're enjoying it while they're doing it. And that means a lot, too, because these guys have overcome so many things, injuries, all that, to be where they are today. So they do understand. And for the state of Wisconsin, for them to get a national championship, yeah, I think that would have a lasting impression.
Right here.
Ed Graney Review-Journal. Mike Krzyzewski just said that because of Kentucky's pursuit of perfection, he thought you guys flew under the radar in terms of how good you were and what the nation really knew, because the spotlight was on them the whole year. Could you say the same about Duke, in that because everyone was talking about Kentucky, people didn't really understand until maybe the last few weeks how good Duke is?
Bo.
Well, sure, but I don't think basketball fans that I know would ever think that Duke didn't have a good team. I mean, a lot of people thought they had a pretty good team because they came in and spanked us at our place. So I can't answer that, because I think everybody that I've ever been around this year knew that Duke had a really good team. So I can't say that they were ignored, that's for sure.
Back in the back.
This is for Frank and Sam. Jack from CBS News. This stand-up routine, the dance videos, is all of that just organic to who you guys are? Is some part of it strategic to help you limit the pressure, and does it help you limit the pressure, or am I just crazy?
Frank.
Yeah, we're just a fun group of guys. As you can tell by us sitting up here not getting any questions. We're just sitting here joking around because there's not much else to do. So just trying to have as much fun as possible with all of it.
Sam.
Yeah. I guess that's how we are. We kind of feed off one another in that sense. And no, we don't say that. But yeah, it's fun to be around these guys. Some people tell us, like on Twitter, they'll be like, "Focus, guys." But that's just us. We know when we can focus. When we get on the court, it's all business, which is how it should be. But around here, hey, Josh. But when we're doing this stuff, you should have fun with it. Just be yourself and not get too caught up in it. That's how we all live.
Right over here, Jim.
Jim O'Connell, Associated Press. Bo, in 1991, when Duke knocked off UNLV, the unbeaten team, Mike said he really had to stop the team from celebrating that they had another game in 2 days. Did you have to do anything last night like that? Did you have to stop the celebrating and get them to look ahead to Monday night, or were you okay with how they were after the game?
Bo.
Mark Johnson is the women's hockey coach at the University of Wisconsin. Won a lot of national championships. Great teacher, great coach. I was reminded, I can't tell you by how many people, "Hey, Bo, in 1980, you know, after we beat Russia, we had to beat Finland. And the first guy that said it to me, I don't know a lot about hockey, but I knew about the 80 team. And I said, you know what, you're right. But most people think that Russia was the gold medal game. And I think it was Finland, wasn't it, Tom?
That's right.
So I've been reminded on a few text messages that Finland is Duke, and both really good teams. Duke's a good team. I take it Finland was a pretty good team because they got to the finals. So, yes, we know we've got 40 more, as I've said 1,000 times, but we know we got some work to do. And I think last night's game simply says, okay, it puts you in position now to go after the championship.
Right here. in the
Hi,
middle.
Michael Hamarne from TSN up in Canada. That's for Frank and Bo. How much are you looking forward to that matchup with Jaleel Okafor?
Frank?
It's going to be a good matchup. You know, to be the best, you got to beat the best, and he's one of the best players in the country, and Duke's one of the best teams in the country. So we see it as another good matchup for us, and we're going to do whatever we can to come out on top.
Oh,
Well, there's no way I can match up with him. He'd kill me. Is that what you're asking? I'd have to take him outside and, you know, get behind the three-point line and work him over a little bit because do you mean as a coach, am I looking forward to it? Yeah, and we just did it 3 or 4 months ago, but yeah, the two very good players, two guys that are very important to their teams, and it should be pretty interesting for purists of the game to watch two bigs like that go against one another.
over here.
Steve Greenberg, Chicago Sun-Times. This is for Bo and also Frank and Josh, because you guys have been around the longest. It was pretty momentous when Ohio State won the football national championship, first one in a while for the league, for the Big Ten. Hasn't been a basketball title since 2000. First of all, what do you make of that? Does it surprise you?
Bo?
Yeah, you know, I thought we had some teams from the league that had very good chances of getting it done. But it's amazing how this game can just snap. 2-minute period, a 30-second period. I mean, there's been chances for Big Ten teams since 2000. And, you know, now we have a chance. For Ohio State to do what they did for the Big Ten, for themselves, and then for the Big Ten, you know, makes a huge statement, especially since it was the first one with the setup that the way it is now in football, with the playoff system. So, yeah, this would be, you know, better late than never if we could get it accomplished. The 15-year drought. So, yeah, we're going to try to represent the Big Ten for sure.
Josh?
Yeah, obviously you want to, represent the conference well, throughout the tournament. You're rooting for teams like Michigan State, and who made it pretty far. So we've had some really good teams in this league over the years. Kind of surprised there hasn't been a national champion, but that doesn't take anything away from the conference as a whole, I don't think. So we're just trying to represent the conference, but it's not really about the Big Ten. It's kind of about us, what we can do to win a national championship.
Okay, we're going to go right here.
Scott Docterman, Cedar Rapids Gazette. This is for Bo and for Josh. Gary Close has been known over the years for how he's helped shooters improve over the years. In what ways has he done that with this team, this group, and how are the results measured?
Josh, we'll start with you.
Yeah, GC, he's huge for us. He probably couldn't play at all back in the day, so we had to figure out how he could get into basketball. And he's worked with all of us as shooters, especially, and working on skill development. If you want to play, you got to be able to shoot. That's pretty much how it works. And if you want to be on a good team, I know he's helped me a lot personally. Just from my freshman year to my sophomore year, I spent a lot of time in the summer changing my shot, changing little things, and it got a lot better. And I'm not the only one who can say that. So he's great for that way, and also just his aura around us. He jokes around with us all the time, keeps us loose, has fun with us, and that's what it's all about.
Bo?
Did he ask you at your last family reunion, cousin? Yeah, Gary, I knew Gary from way back. Tom Davis, the coach at Stanford at the time, when I got the Platteville job. Tom Davis, a graduate of Platteville, and you knew I'd get that in. So he had me out to Stanford because I wanted to spend some time with him, get some nuggets. And so he took care of everything, and he kind of pawned me off on Gary Close and Bruce Pearl. Well, obviously, I had a lot more fun with Gary Close. You think Bruce is going to hear this? No. So with Bruce and with Gary, I got a chance to spend some time with them, and that's the first time I got to know him. And then when he was at Iowa, I would go down to their practices, go down to their camp, go to, then when I got at Wisconsin, and Tony Bennett left to go with his dad to Washington State, that's when I hired Gary. So, and he's done a great job for us.
Right back here.
Nancy Armour, USA Today. Bo, back here. You said before that you don't really worry about the perception that there is of you guys, but I think this is the second year in a row that you guys have had the highest offensive production in your era. So why do you think that perception hasn't changed?
Oh.
I have no, because I don't hang around people that ever say anything other than, man, your guys are pretty good. They're pretty efficient. I don't know. It must be the way I walk or the places I go. I only hear that these guys are pretty good and that they can score, they can defend, they can play. So when people say to me about perception, I don't know what you're referring to other than it must not be that these guys are good. Is it? I don't know. So I don't, somebody would have to explain to me that a team that averages 1.2 something points per possession isn't a pretty good team. I don't know.
Back in the back.
Mike Solarte, News 14 Carolina. Coach, of the folks that are up there on the podium right now, you're likely the only one that has some kind of, or has had some kind of interaction with Coach Mike Krzyzewski. What makes Coach K to the outsiders? Because I think you would agree, he has a certain aura and mystique, and of course, over 1,000 victories now. What do you see in him that makes him who he is?
Bo?
Well, he and I are both have both been involved with the military. We both served. So I've known him. I remember seeing Army play when Coach Knight was there one time. And, you know, I've just watched him grow in the profession. He didn't have instant success at Duke when he was there. He just kept working through it and made Duke relevant again, so to speak, meaning championships. And, you know, they had a down period, as all schools tend to every once in a while. And then being involved with USA Basketball, he's been on committees that I've been on with the National Association of Basketball Coaches. So I see him wearing a lot of different hats, not just Coach K. We've been involved with things where we've tried to help the game, try to help the student athletes, getting more, being treated a little bit better. So I see him as just an all-around ambassador for the game of basketball.
Right over here.
Aaron Beard with the Associated Press. This is for Coach Ryan. You talked about wanting your players to enjoy the opportunity of being here. What about for you personally? What are your emotions and kind of enjoying this moment of getting a chance to play for a national championship?
Well, it's just like in '91 when that Platteville team won the national championship. The first thing I did was I looked at the crowd because I wanted to see how happy everybody else was and to see how happy the players were and to see this team affects a lot of people and their emotions. So what I like as a coach is when you win a conference championship or whatever, and you watch people, you just know that they have a lot of emotion involved in it, and that's what I get a thrill out of, seeing how success can affect not only the players, but the people that have helped them get to that point, who drove them to their practices, who helped them go to camps in the summer, who helped them understand the value of an education. Their parents, their family, all the people they've been around. So that's what I see. I just see how emotionally it affects everybody else.
Right back here, we've got time for just a few more, right here.
Hi, question for Frank. Anna Werner with CBS News. Frank, I read where you were quoted as saying that earlier in your life when you were playing, you were not considered, or you didn't consider yourself the man, unquote. So are you the man now, do you think? And if so, or if you're coming close, whatever you consider, what made you that way? I mean, I read about all your preparation, and is it that?
Frank?
I don't know. I wasn't prepared for a question of this magnitude. So do you want like an intellectual answer, or? No, I just think back in high school and everything, there were people that were considered, better than me, and that kind of irritated me. I don't know why. It's just something deep within me. I don't know. I'm a competitor. I've always been very competitive in everything. In a sport like basketball, you always want to be better than your competition. So it's just something that always drove me to become a better player, and so I could be, at the top, hopefully. It's been good to me. So I'm happy I have that competitive drive and that competitive nature.
This will be our last question right here.
Sam, you can wake up over here. Okay. And Frank, both of you, what is it that you do offensively that makes Frank more effective? And Frank, what do you do to make Sam more effective?
Sam?
Well, we like to, obviously, a lot of stuff starts with Frank. And, that's, I think, what obviously helps us to be a good offensive team is when we run a lot of things through Frank. And I just like being another option for him, and for our team. I can go inside and out, so I think that helps, our whole team with spacing and getting open looks and just drawing defenders, and that's something I like to do. I like if a shot's not there, easy bucket's not there. A lot of times, some attention will be paid to me, and obviously that'll leave somebody open. And I think, coach puts you on the floor because you're unselfish. That's something he looks for. And if you're willing to pass up some looks for better looks, that's obviously going to raise your level of play on the offensive end and make you more efficient. So I just think my ability to read the defense and go inside and out and take guys off the dribble opens up things for my teammates, hopefully, and just try to find them or get an easy bucket.
And Frank?
Just with Sam's ability to put the ball on the floor, to post up, to shoot the ball, it makes my job a lot easier. If you look at some plays at the end of games here, it's me setting ball screens for Sam. Not many times do you see a 7-footer setting a ball screens for a guy who's 6'9". Just the way he's able to make plays and shoot the ball, get to the rim, it just makes it so much easier. It opens up a lot of stuff for people because they got to be paying attention to where we are on the floor. So just having that skill set and having that ability to make plays really helps out our team, from both of our standpoints.
Thank you, men. Again, the breakout sessions will begin momentarily. Exit the media area and